Hello again. Welcome back to the Automating Everything series. Last time I mentioned towards the end that I needed to make myself a proper base because living outside the side of this cliff face down here is, it's not very sustainable. So I've spent the time to make a proper structure here. It's very large. It's probably got way more space than I'll ever need, and it's not even finished because I don't have a roof on the top. I honestly don't know what I want to do there, but I at least have something, and that's what's important. I've connected it to the steam engines over there so that I have stress units available. There's like nothing inside it. Bottom layer here I haven't finished designing. But I do have something fancy in the form of this elevator, which it can take you up to each individual floor. It's not fully designed, obviously, yet, because I'm not done with this, but I mean, I have, like, this room, this area, and there's the source there. Then I have this floor, which is all spruce and dark oak, and I'm thinking this might be the, like, various create machine area, probably, for, like, personal use. Effectively a workshop. And then we have the top floor as well up here, which I don't know what to do with. I kind of made it without really thinking about, what I need. Better to have space than not have it. I'm probably going to end up cutting this up into like rooms essentially, and do different things in there, so on and so forth. But yeah, so that's kind of the whole base thing sorted, more or less. I just need to go on the process of moving all my stuff over to here. So that's what I'll be doing in the background. That's not really the focus here, so I won't be worrying about that for the moment. Instead, I think we ought to automate something else. I have officially moved into the house. Everything has been moved out of the old place, and I've set myself up a little sort of workshop area here with all my create things, a bunch of these benches, basically everything I'll possibly need for creating things for like intermediate steps or trying to figure out the processing behind something, while up here I just have my enchanting stuff, a kitchen, that sort of thing. I've also re-enabled Pokemon spawning, as I figured out that you can just disable mob drops, Pokemon drops rather, which was causing issues with automating stuff. So now I have that as well, which incentivizes the production of Cobblemon related things. The next thing I want to automate though is steel. Steel is used by a lot of different mods here, I'm sure. I mean, I just have steel searched here and you can see there's quite a few things. Now, to make steel, there's a few different options. The way I'm going to opt to do it just utilizes basically iron and charcoal, which we have the production of both of automated. So first of all, it starts off with making some iron plates, or iron sheets, potato. Then that gets compacted in a basin with a mechanical press, while heated, to make industrial iron ingots here. And then those can be combined with charcoal, pressed again, and you have steel. So that is the basic process we are going to automate here. As for our cobblestone and gravel automation here, now that I've cleared out my base here, so it's completely empty pretty much, I can go ahead and continue this as I wish. I'm thinking I make like automation of sand right here. Hello, little creature. And then I'm not entirely sure what else. It's kind of like, this is a lot of stones. I kind of need to work on it a bit because it kind of looks not great right now, but yeah. So that will be something I will automate as well. But I'm thinking the steel production could go, you see this big hill I'm standing on here. I think it could go like right around on top of this, where we have like a train like we have over there that takes wood over there. You can have a train or something, or maybe just a belt, I'm not entirely sure, that directly transfers the charcoal from this building into it. And then I was thinking of having basically a suspended train that travels from up there around over to our steel building here to transfer iron that we need for steel production. Okay, so since the last clip, I've done a lot of building, trying to figure this out. It's been a bit of, umming and ahhing, as I usually do when I'm trying to build something. But I have made this big old structure at the top of this hill here. I'm reasonably proud of it. I did a lot of work on designing it. This sort of messy, gravelly, stony, weird sort of foundation for it. I think it kind of looks cool in that it's so messy and kind of even missing in some parts, as you can see there. But yeah, I think this will be a nice place to have like sort of a steelworks. And as you can see, I'm even using just a normal Minecraft iron door here to fit with the vibe. The walls are meant to be this kind of sheet metal, like you can see in some places. But yeah, I just made use of like sheet iron blocks, iron sheet metal, both just normal and gray, and iron sheet metal from North Star, which will be a mod that we'll get into at some point. And I fell in a hole. Now, what you may have noticed is this whole mess. So this is how I'm getting the charcoal over here, because we'll need charcoal to make steel, obviously. So we are sending it across these belts. I will add some support for them at some point. I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that, but you can see here it's like going in. I'm kind of like making it like it's spilling out some too, as you might imagine. And then if we go inside, you can also see that it's all stockpiled in this corner. And I have a sneaky hidden belt here where we can pull out our charcoal, because there is an item vault in here, just to store a bit of a cache, if you will. Now as for the iron, I'm thinking it should come in here via train, similar to how we did over there, as I mentioned before. And the way I want to do this is I kind of want it to like, be above. Hi, get out of here, please. Thank you. I want it to like pull in right here, it load off the side, and then it go back. So my idea is it's basically up on stilts somewhere over this to get up to over there. And it will come out of our windmill, which has our iron in it, specifically from this higher floor up here through this track. I will figure out a way. Probably it gets supported somewhere along there-ish. Then it curves around, gets across that path, then curves back around to meet there. And then we can just have a train that goes back and forth between those 2 points, much like that one down there. And that way we can be transferring iron. And I'm thinking it might be fun to just transfer it in terms of blocks as opposed to in terms of ingots or nuggets, just because if I find an iron block here real quick, there is a mod that has added a thing which will allow us to basically shake these down. If I find the recipe here, unpacking, yeah, this little thing, you can just vibrate it, and it will unpack it, which just seems like a fun little step for it to do. Now, as for the actual steel process, I mentioned before that we could do it, through this industrial iron, charcoal into steel. There's also this recipe, which is much more resource efficient, but it seems a bit lamer, honestly, because this requires more processing steps, which is more interesting. So I'm going to still continue to go with this, even though it might be a little, might be a little underpowered, if you will. I think the alternative recipe is just a bit too good and too simple of an automating challenge. Okay, so I've been spending a few hours on this now. I'm not entirely sure. It's like 1 a.m. right now. But first of all, here's this first segment. I just used a compacting drawer just to make getting iron blocks easier. The other method I wanted to do it was just slow. It just goes into a little vault here so it can get transported via a train here. So if we go ahead and follow that train line, if I go down here, see, it comes out here, travels along. I kind of have like these single pillar posts, so it's kind of meant to be a little rickety. And it comes over here, as I indicated before, to here. Now here, our sheep friend is going to be dropping off iron, Seems like it's still got quite a bit in store, which is fine. If we go inside, this is the whole steel process. Right here you see we've already made 130 something steel, and I only just finished this a few moments ago. So let's go through the whole process once more. We have our iron blocks. These get put on a vibrating table, which breaks them down into the iron ingots. These iron ingots get pressed by our mechanical press here into plates. These plates are put in this basin to make industrial iron. That industrial iron is then combined with charcoal to turn it to steel. Now the actual logistics back here are fairly complex, but it's pretty compact. There's a lot of belts and such. But the main thing is that right here we have a mechanical arm, which is taking charcoal from that depot right there, which goes in through this this belt here, goes in through there. The mechanical arm picks it up and puts it in our two burners, as well as this chute which goes into this drawer, which puts the charcoal into our basin. So yeah, that's basically the whole process done. Fairly easy steps overall. One thing I am considering is, because I still have a bit of extra space here, one thing I might find useful is automating this. Mainly because it's used in some recipes, like as you can see here, to get like a higher amount of things or so on and so forth. So it might be nice to automate the production of just pure industrial iron as well. For now though, that'll work, and it's working pretty well. Now I'm not going to put a void upgrade on this because this is something that uses other resources and isn't generating them infinitely technically. So there's no need to, if this reaches this cap, perfect, that's fine. But yeah, that's the basic process, and I think it fit in here pretty well. I like how it looks, and I like this like kind of raised platform in here. One thing I did want to do is probably add smokestacks, which I can do on my own time. Now, like I said, I think I will try to add a little segment over there, just automating this industrial iron, which is fairly simple. It's just this part of the whole thing. You don't even need charcoal to be in the recipe, it's just in the burner. So yeah, I will probably go ahead and do that next as well. Might as well. It's a nice little corner here. Alright, so you might notice there's nothing here. It's actually because I was able to fit it in this corner here. I was able to, because I realized I need charcoal access into this blaze burner in order to press this into industrial iron. So after some finagling, you can kind of see that kind of finagling here. I was able to fit it into this little corner here where we have our press, just making iron sheets, so on and so forth. Our iron comes from this belt up here, which is suspended and is connected down through here before iron gets sent in, because I figured it'd be easier if I didn't have to reuse or recreate this vibrating table. So instead, it just directly sorts the iron ingots out, and then they get sent along that conveyor belt down to here, eventually leading up to here. That's pretty much it. I'm not entirely sure what to do with this space here still. I'm kind of thinking on that. But for now, that's that. Now, I've been thinking about this region quite a bit, and I'm thinking I'll keep it. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was kind of considering whether I wanted to keep it here or change it or whatnot, and I think I'll keep it. I actually did make a rather important change to the gravel and cobblestone systems here. See how they're quiet? There's no mining noise, you know? Normally it was constant. Well, that's because I had void upgrades in these, so it would just constantly make cobblestone or gravel. But now I've rigged it such that it is smart, and it will basically detect, you know, Do I have a stockpile built up? If so, turn off, pretty much. That's the long story made short. I did that to reduce wasted stress units, as well as kind of maybe keep down on lag, because this would be constantly generating items. So yeah, and I'm gonna probably keep that kind of system in place for any future ones here. I'm thinking sand should be put here, for example. And then beyond that, I'm not sure. There's a lot of stones available. You know, we got quite a few different ones here. Stones / dirt. Oh, we could actually, you know, to that end, we could automate the production of dirt, because dirt production is a little more complex here. There's one recipe in particular that I'm looking for that would be the most useful. Yes. Okay, so this is a very complex process here. But what we could do is we can easily automate the production of coarse dirt. That's dirt and gravel combined. Now, coarse dirt can be combined such that you can then make, or not combined, you can make that into mud by mixing. Okay. And then from mud, sure, we can get packed mud, and that's probably something we'll use eventually. But from this mud, we can then use a centrifuge, which is able to turn that mud back into dirt. Not coarse dirt, dirt. And that's how we can produce dirt. It's basically a cyclic process where dirt gets fed back into the machine, it makes coarse dirt, then it outputs that coarse dirt such that we have 2 original dirt and 2 gravel. That becomes 4 coarse dirt. That 4 coarse dirt gets turned into mud. That mud gets centrifuged down back into normal dirt, and then that dirt gets recirculated back to make up for the loss. It's a very complex process, but it is an option. Now that I laid that out, I probably won't implement it here because it seems like a very complex process. So I think for now, I'm going to stick with sand because it's fairly simple. It's simply grinding down gravel, and that can also generate us some flint and clay, which I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with. So yeah. Let's go ahead and automate the production of sand here and make it smart like these ones are, so I don't have to keep them generating when it's not necessary. Okay, we now officially have the automation of sand completed, more or less. I am concerned about one thing, but I'll talk about that in a moment. If I knock my way in here. It's pretty simple. It's not a complicated process. Back here, got a drill operating on cobblestone. That gets sent along the belt here, which gets double crushed into gravel and then into sand, clay, and flint, with the clay and flint being sort of byproducts of it. So they are going here, whereas our sand goes here. Now, if I look above the sand, I've got a comparator on it, which will basically read the amount in the inventory and be able to disable both the crushing wheels as well as the drill. So hopefully I have it set correctly. It's possibly going to need more tweaking to be the correct settings, but for now it'll work. And now we've got some sand production, as well as like clay and flint, but that's not as important. And I have void upgrades on these since these are secondary to the sand here. So with that, I was actually doing some thinking what I would want to do next here. And frankly, the space is a little weird because, you know, I have these 3 kind of things, and putting a 4th one here it loses its hill, so I'd have to kind of curve it around and have to keep going. I just think it would get weird, so I'm thinking I might do something else, like an actual proper building right here to, I don't know, maybe it'll process sand, let's say, and make glass, or process gravel into some other things or something like that. Something of that nature. And maybe the cobblestone could get blasted into sand, or not sand, smooth stone, that kind of thing. So then we have like some sort of processing of it directly associated with its production. You know? So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning on probably doing with this eventually. But for right now, this will be fine. Alright, well, I think that is gonna do it for this episode, at least. Because I would like to get it out, and it's around the 20-minute mark, I believe. But hopefully I can get back into making more episodes soon, now that I have an actual base to be working out of instead of my weird corner base, which only like half worked. It should be a lot more easy for me to work on stuff. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you made it to here, especially, I hope you liked it. If you have suggestions, just let me know. I've considered showing more of my process in terms of how I kind of create everything here. But part of me doesn't do that, mostly because it's boring, usually, and it's just me trying to figure it out, and that's not exactly interesting, and I'm more interested in kind of just showing off what I've built after it's already been built. But yeah. If you have ideas for this corner, also let me know. It'd be cool if we could maybe make use of our steel or industrial iron somehow. Not entirely sure how. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.